Mark Carney is stealing another conservative idea. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel for this Thursday evening. Yes, I'm doing an evening video right now. We're going to talk about the...
A little tea while you shit on the British.
Oh, the British?
He's British. I don't call him a British because he's British educated. Fuck him, fuck Oxford.
Okay. Anyway, Mark Carney is announcing the elimination of the GST off of new home builds, which was something that Pierre Poilievre came up with last year and was called, un-Canadian and stupid and bad at economics, and was told that this wouldn't get houses built, and all of that nonsense was a Liberal talking point up until just after Christmas. When they realized that Trudeau was resigning, and then they were like, "Oh no, actually, no, it's a great idea. We thought of it actually. Pierre Poilievre is lying when he says he thought of it. It was us actually." And so this is the clip that I'm bringing you. Mr. Carney is going to tell us about this announcement and this plan. And we're going to start off with a staggeringly amazing start. Let me just show you this here.
We need that. We need. So, Prime Minister, thank you for coming home to Edmonton today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Monsieur le Maire, Amarjeet.
Oops. He's in Edmonton. Okay, so he shouldn't be starting in French because nobody there speaks French. So it's clear he doesn't know how to say the mayor of Edmonton's name. So he tried first to say Mr. Mayor. So he says, "Thank you very much, Monsieur le Maire." And then he completely mangles the poor man's name.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Monsieur le Maire, Amarjeet. Something
Indian that I don't understand. Like that's how he sounds. He sounds so racist. Like he could have, before the cameras were rolling, just, "Excuse me, sir, just to make sure I don't butcher your name when we're live. How do you pronounce your name?" And instead he just decides he's gonna make it up as he goes along.
It is great pleasure for me to be here, and I want to thank Emma and Adil from Ohit Homes and for inviting us here, hosting us here, but for what you're doing and being part of what is an incredible story in terms of housing. I looked out as I came in. We're in the shadow of Commonwealth Stadium, but when I think of it as in the shadow of Clark Stadium. Those of you who are from
Yes,
Edmonton,
you're old. You're old. We understand, sir. You're an old man that's not hip and with it, although you try to be. And you remember the stadium has a different name. Good for you. Get to the housing announcement.
Remember those days. And the transformation of the stadium yards here is part of a bigger transformation in this city, which really is the most successful story in housing across the country.
Wait,
story.
How is a transformation of a stadium into... Wait, I'm confused. How is the transformation of a stadium from one stadium to another stadium a story of housing? Did I miss something?
And the transformation of the stadium yards here is part of a bigger transformation in this city, which really is the most successful story in housing across the country.
No, I didn't.
A story that needs to continue. And
somebody in Edmonton or Alberta, can you explain what he's talking about? Because did they change Commonwealth Stadium into like housing or something? Can somebody that lives out there explain this to me? Because right now he's making it sound like Edmonton changed one stadium to another stadium, and now he's saying that transformation shows us a bigger transformation in housing. Somebody is that's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm getting at. Like, he might just be a terrible speaker, and I may be misunderstanding him that way, but that's what it sounds like.
And needs to be emulated. I'm going to start on a slightly different point, though, if I may, which is something else that Canada's new government announced this morning, which is a provision of $187 million to support the reconstruction of roads, of campgrounds, of trails, and of housing in Jasper town site, but the rest across.
Oh, you mean the housing in the place where you were warned there would be fires, but the government did nothing to take care of the overforestation there. Okay.
Park. It's
about
place.
time you
Jasper's
started doing something for Jasper.
For all of us Canadians, very much so. For those from the region, those here in Edmonton, I knew it well growing up, and have some unforgettable memories.
He says and more than Trudeau does, and I thought that was a lot. It's like every other word.
From Sublime.
He just did it again.
Growing up, and have some unforgettable memories from Sublime, going around the lakes and camping or hiking.
I need a bell. You know, like those cashier bells that you ding at the end of the counter. I need one every time he goes
The terrifying when a bear tore apart the tent next to us while we were
Dude. We don't care about the bear that tore apart a neighboring tent while you were camping in Jasper one time. What the hell does this have to do with either funding for Jasper town site or the elimination of GST for new home builds? No wonder this is a 30-minute long clip.
So it was heartbreaking when the fires ravaged the park and through the town site. And this funding announced today will help residents
This funding
get back
announced
home
today, almost 18 months after it
faster,
happened.
rebuild the town stronger than ever, and also build out the park infrastructure. As the mayor said, I'm back in Edmonton. I owe everything to this city. It's where I grew up. It's the place that shaped my understanding of our great nation. It's where I was taught in the classroom, around the kitchen table, at the rink, the value of hard work.
Oh yes, you totally played. I was at the rink. I'm a Canadian, boys. I went to the hockey rink. Don't you know?
The hockey club?
I grew up in Edmonton. It's where I grew up, I was taught at the classroom, around the table, at the rink. I gotta throw the rink in there because you're not Canadian unless you've been to the arena.
Work, the strength of community, the importance of ambition and humility, and that's a uniquely Canadian combination, I think, and combining ambition.
Humility is not a uniquely Mark Carney combination,
these are good
that's
values.
for
These
sure.
are Alberta values. And back when I was growing up, that's what you needed to succeed. Quand j'étais jeune, tablement.
Skip.
Et à travers le pays. Mais ce n'est plus
God, your French
when
is
Canadians
terrible.
Stable housing. Il est difficile de fonder une famille. Et sans logement, on ne peut pas bâtir une économie la plus forte du G7.
Oh my God. It's not... Okay,
Stable
I'm not
housing.
going to try to correct your grammar.
Access to housing is the foundation.
It's just terrible.
Without housing, it's hard to focus on your future. Without housing, it's hard to start a family. And without housing, we can't build the strongest economy in the G7.
Yeah, we're far from the strongest economy in the G7, Mr. Carney. And with you in charge, we're not even going to be close.
And the reality today is that when Canadians, particularly young Canadians across the country, are doing everything right, studying hard, getting a good education or training, securing a well-paying job, saving up. They often barely have enough to pay the rent. Now, that's not true here. That's not true here with these units. That's not true here in Edmonton, but it's a bigger challenge.
Oh, it's not true in Edmonton. Oh, it's not true in Edmonton that people are struggling to pay the rent? Why? Just because you're standing at a co-op house, a co-op unit, or like co-op housing, that people don't struggle to pay their rent there specifically, but in the rest of Edmonton, you're going to be like, oh, it's also not true in Edmonton that people struggle for, but in other places in Canada, it's totally true. Not here in great city of Edmonton, though. Like, oh, come on.
Challenge across the country, and the challenge of being able to afford a home. And the reason is that Edmonton is not Canada. Canada is not building enough new homes.
Wait, Edmonton is not Canada? Wait, what?
Edmonton is not Canada to afford a home. And the reason is that Edmonton is not Canada. Canada is not building enough new homes.
Wait. The reason that Edmontonians aren't struggling to house themselves is because Edmonton is not Canada, and Canada is not building enough homes. What? I did you forget your speech? Did you lose a cue card? Did you forget what you were supposed to say? 'Cause that made no sense. Edmonton is not Canada, and Canada is not building enough homes. Okay.
And so as a result, housing is just too expensive. And it's
As a result of Edmonton not being Canada and Canada not building enough homes, housing is too expensive. Well, let's get Edmonton back into the fold, shall we? Shit, if that's the only reason housing is expensive, let's get Edmonton back into being part of Canada right now.
It's a problem that we in the government are now addressing head on.
Oh, good. The government is addressing Edmonton not being part of Canada head on. Awesome.
And I said right from the beginning when I launched my leadership bid just 2 months ago in Laurier Heights, not far from here, it's time to build.
It's time to build. And apparently make one of the largest cities in the province of Alberta back to being part of Canada. Because apparently it wasn't for a while.
We need to get housing supply up. In fact, we need to double housing supply on an annual basis.
How do you double housing supply on an annual basis? Do you have do you just have a 3D printer that's just spitting out houses?
That's just continuing that bullshit million homes crap.
I think they actually believe that
We need
crap.
to get that supply up.
Build a million homes in 5 years and they're not going to be absolutely trash fires like they currently are.
Oh, good. No
So we can
trash
bring
fire
costs down.
houses. Okay.
We need to build more at a faster pace.
Build more at a faster pace. Oh, that just sounds like there won't be any corners cut. At all. Or any...
New houses aren't collapsing or anything.
Yeah, it sounds like there won't be any collapsing houses, collapsing apartment buildings. No, it'll be fine. Just build more faster. Quickly.
So my government will stimulate innovation and productivity and sustainability by promoting new technologies such as modular and prefabricated homes.
Yes, we want to live in the pod. Yes, we bring forth the modular and fabricated housing. Let's build giant cities of 2-story trailer homes
that speed up completion times, lower
that aren't, they look like mobile homes, but they're not. They're just modular homes.
costs for builders and buyers. We're working to remove barriers by cutting red tape, levies, development costs and chargers.
Costs?
By cutting red tape, levies, development costs
Yeah, levies, development costs that.
and chargers that the mayor just mentioned, reducing taxes, accelerating permitting approvals, and working directly with mayors. And this is really a story of success in those cities that are engaged, such as Edmonton, working directly with the cities through the Housing Accelerator Fund.
Oh, of course, the Housing Accelerator Fund. That has been proven to have not built a single freaking house since its inception. Yay, Housing Accelerator Fund. Let's keep that going.
It's made an impact here. It's making an impact across the country from Quebec City to Saskatoon. I know from personal.
From Quebec City to Saskatoon? That's like the direct middle of the country. How can you say it's making an impact across the country? That's like saying... That's like covering the center of the pizza with pepperoni and gone, look, there's pepperoni across the pizza. Okay, yeah, but what about the edge? And, like, the whole border? What are you talking about?
Experience. And the other thing we need to do, and I'd like to thank colleagues for being here.
I'd like to thank colleagues whose names I can't even have been bothered to learn. So I'm just going to stagger over their names and then call them all just colleagues.
We're building these homes. We need to grow the construction sector workforce, accelerate training and apprenticeship.
Grow the construction sector workforce? Well, first of all, you might want to remap the whole mindset of people thinking that trade school is the way to go, because for a long time there, people were like, no, go to university, go to college. No, fuck that.
Improve the mobility of skilled labor. There's more than enough work right now in Edmonton, but we want to build up the work across the country, and we want the skilled workers to be able, if they so decide, to immediately go to another part of Canada.
No, why do you want the skilled workers to just be like transient people wandering across the country, building homes and moving on? Like, why can't a skilled laborer want to be skilled at his labor in one spot? Why does he have to mosey all over the country building houses, not able to settle down roots? That's no.
And work there without any red tape or hassle, and that's going to be a focus when I meet provincial premiers tomorrow.
Yes, no red tape. Okay, so how are we going to get the permits and the inspections and the what have you for the houses?
Because it is a time to build. We are going to have a multi-decade building of this country.
A multi-decade building of this country. How long do you plan on being in power, sir? Don't answer that. Because, I mean, you've already lost the election with Trump endorsing you and all this crap. But, I mean, like, how long do you really want to be in power?
It is going to be a great time to have a career.
It's going to be a great time.
Now,
everybody will pizza when they're supposed to pizza and French fry when they're supposed to French fry, and they will have a great time.
in the coming weeks, we're going to announce a lot more on further increasing housing supply. But I want to just concentrate on the other side of the equation for a moment, which is how can we help Canadians, particularly younger Canadians, buy their first homes right now? So
you could make it so that people don't need a quarter of their house, the total cost of the house for their down payment, perhaps. You could make it so once you qualify for a mortgage, you then don't turn around and lose the mortgage because of mortgage insurance.
What I'm announcing today is that my new government will eliminate the GST for first-time home buyers on all new and substantially renovated homes under $1 million.
Substantially renovated homes. What does that mean? How substantial does a renovation have to be on a home to take the GST off? and it's under $1 million. Again, directly copying the conservative plan to remove the GST off of new and renovated homes under $1 million.
This is a big deal.
No, well, yeah, it was a big deal last year when Poilievre thought of it.
Home buyers are the major purchasers of new and substantially renovated homes. This can provide up to $50,000 in savings for families entering the housing market. It means that all first-time home buyers will need to save less for a deposit, and they'll be able to move in sooner.
That's not true. Having the taxes off the principal doesn't mean that you'll be able to save for less for the down payment. It just means that you won't be screwed over as much in taxes, and your mortgage payment might be a bit lower.
And it will allow more first-time home buyers to realize their dream of home ownership, whether you're a nurse here in Edmonton, a teacher in Red Deer, or an equipment operator on the oil patch. Nous devons
Skipping the terrible French.
nous éliminer, and I'd be happy can afford that if you work et en plus de familles à acheter plus vite. For generations, Canadians have built this country on the idea that if you work hard, you should be able to have a good home in a safe community.
Oh my God, he's stealing Poilievre's. Holy shit. He is stealing from Poilievre's own words about how you should be able to, growing up or being in Canada has promised that if you work hard and you study hard, then you earn a good job or you earn a good paycheck. Like all of that stuff that he just said, straight from Poilievre.
Together, let's build a Canada you can afford. Let's build the strongest economy in the G7. Let's build Canada strong.
Let's build Canada strong. Can I please go back to my hotel? This is the most boring press conference I've ever attended. Like, every time I hear this man, he is so bored. Like, I guarantee you, when he's getting into question period as the opposition, he's gonna sound so bored.
Thank you, merci, and I'd be happy to take your questions.
Now we are going to listen to a few questions because he gets asked a very interesting question here by one of the Edmontonian reporters.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Merci, Monsieur le Premier ministre. We will take 15 minutes of question. On va prendre 15 minutes de questions. Please state your name and your outlet before beginning your question. S'il vous plaît, vous nommer ainsi que votre média avant de commencer votre question. First question.
Hi, David Staples from the Edmonton Journal. Welcome to Edmonton.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then there's another Edmonton question after that.
You met with Premier Smith. She's advocating for the private sector to build pipelines across Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is, you've said you're open to this kind of development, but can you make a commitment to Canadians and to Albertans that you will fight to get pipelines built?
Yeah.
That you will fight in the way that the industry wants, getting rid of the West Coast tanker ban, reforming C-69. Will you commit?
Straight up conservative question about reforming Bill C-69, something that the other Liberal Party wouldn't touch.
To those things.
Yeah, Dave, thank you for the question, David. Look, and I had a meeting with the Premier this morning. I'll be with all the Premiers tomorrow for the First Minister's meeting. Let me tell you part of the focus of that meeting, because it goes directly to your question. It's about getting things done. It's about getting, yes, pipelines built across this country so that we can displace imports of foreign oil. It's about building out the energy infrastructure more broadly here in Alberta, which I would add would include projects such as the pathways. It's about building energy corridors and trade corridors, including potentially up from here through to Nunavut. So we have additional deep water.
He's just going. This is Mark Carney, how he doesn't answer questions. He should have just been able to say yes, no, I met with, yes, I met with Premier Smith. Yes, I will be doing pipelines. No, I won't be doing
For
pipelines.
new legislation at a speed.
So we're going to skip that.
Taxes. Yeah, the Trump.
Okay, here we go. This is the one I wanted you guys to
under my
hear.
government, but also additional levers that we create, and I'll be laying some of those out tomorrow with the premiers.
The Trump tariffs proposed, they're a big threat to our industry.
Yeah.
They're deregulating in the States. They're getting rid of taxes, carbon taxes, all kinds of taxes and regulations to free up industry. You're talking about bringing in an industrial carbon tax and supporting the emissions cap in Alberta. How is that going to help Canadian industry in the face of this threat from the United States?
Well,
That's a good question. If you want to cap all these emissions, how can you say that you are for Alberta, for anything, when Trump is tariffing the crap out of all the steel, and then you're like, I'm going to put an industrial carbon tax on top of everything else?
Things, if I may, David. So we're first is the question of access, reliable access to the U.S. market, and in order to have reliable access to the U.S. market, we're going to need a comprehensive renegotiation of our economic and security partnership with the United States. The American government has chosen to violate a number of aspects of that partnership for reasons known only to themselves.
Oh, please. That we know why they, quote, violated that partnership, those aspects of that partnership. Stop acting like you don't know. Come on, Mr. Carney. I know you're not the sharpest tool in the box, but you're not that stupid.
They're putting a tax on Alberta oil that serves no purpose other than to raise the price to U.S. consumers. And more broadly, the taxes on steel and aluminum and other ones coming, or the tariffs, I should say, are outside the legal framework of CUSMA, USMCA. Okay, so we need
Of what?
framework of CUSMA, USMCA. Okay, so we need to recast that.
What kind of... Did he just say chutzpah?
What we need to do in parallel is to make sure that our industry is as competitive as possible. And I'm much more interested in increasing the competitiveness of our energy sector.
Oh my God, my dude. I cannot. He's just not going to answer any questions. And I can tell the reporters that, they're just kind of quietly standing there, but they're waiting for their turn. But he's just not answering anything. I don't understand how anybody can glean any information out of what he says as a journalist when he just stands there and vomits words out of his mouth. And it's like, I swear he does this so that people get confused and glaze over and have a hard time understanding what he's saying, because that way, if he does that, then he won't have to, answer any questions, be accountable for anything. The people will just go, what? Oh, is he done talking? No? Okay. I wanted to come and show you this announcement because it is just exactly what Pierre Poilievre was talking about last year. And he's stealing subtly from Pierre Poilievre's speeches about how you should be able to have a paycheck that works for you, and you should be able to afford a home in a safe community. It's just talking points that Pierre Poilievre has been bringing up for years. These are all things that Mark Carney has been subtly grabbing and stealing from Pierre Poilievre to make himself sound more palatable to a Canadian that's not really paying as much attention as some of us might be. So if you run into people who are like, oh, Mark Carney seems like a really good guy, just keep pointing out, he's stealing from Poilievre's rhetoric, which goes to show you that Poilievre has obviously got some good ideas if the Liberal Party is starting to try and steal them. So that's I'm sorry this video is so long, but I wanted to go through this clip for the most part, show you guys how he can't answer a simple freaking question, and let you guys see for yourselves how much of a thief he is, and a plagiarist, if you will. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.